In the first episode of the film notes, I made a challenge for myself using a film camera on concert. But I know some of you can be scared by this kind of challenge. Firstly, because you can see the image instantly, so you can learn from your mistakes. And secondly, the prices for the film right now are too high for normal people. This time, I want to share an affordable way to start your journey as a concert photographer using a digital camera. But before we even start, we have to make some commission and bullet point things that we actually consider affordable and beginner friendly. It has to be digital. We will not spend our money on film, developing and scanning. You should be able to change lens. The camera with lens shouldn't cost more than 200 euros. Is there any camera around that budget that can take good photos? Actually, there is one. This is the Nikon D70S, which was released in 2005. The camera itself was a straight competitor to Canon EOS 300D. Compared to the D70, this camera offers better performance, autofocus tracking, updated menu design, and in-print camera support. I will tell you more about the specs later. So what did I choose to take photos of? I thought it had to be really low light situation with mostly monochromatic colors. So I chose the show of my very good friend Wojtek Mazolewski, who had 2 concerts in Vanilla FM. At the first one I did the professional work, but at the second I took photos using Nikon D70. As you can see, the light wasn't great, and working with this kind of camera was quite challenging, especially when it comes to autofocus. Oh, I already mentioned the autofocus, so now let's talk more about the specs. The camera is equipped with 6.1 APS-C side sensor made in CCD technology. CCD compared to modern CMOS sensor are much slower when it comes to reading speed. Also, the low-light capabilities are much lower, but many of their enthusiasts will tell you that the images that came out of it has more organic and film-like look. This part actually doesn't bother me, because I profile every camera and lens using color checker. The autofocus system uses 5 AF points which are not cross-type. This can sound like a problem, and sometimes indeed it is, especially when you want to take particular image and you doesn't have AF points right there. So most of the time I use center AF point, but the camera itself didn't have any problem with nailing focus, and most of the blur came from using slow shutter speed. The ISO ranged from 200 to 1600. The CCD sensors are not great when it comes to high ISO performance, so what you can do is either use flash or, as I said before, slower shutter speed and bright lenses. Let's focus more on the last one. Nikon D70S uses Nikon F mount, which means a huge library of lenses that been compatible since Roman Empire. You can buy either top of the pro lenses, but there are also many affordable options from brands like Sigma and Tamron. My personal recommendation is the Nikkor 50mm f1.8D, which provides angle of view similar to 75mm, and low aperture of f1.8 is gonna to help us in low light situation. But if you are not into price, you can buy zoom lenses from brands like Sigma, Tamron or Tokina. Just before you buy anything, please check the lens compatibility with the camera body. It will save you a lot of stress and time. As I mentioned before, there wasn't a lot of light to play, so I use mostly shutter around 150 to 120 and ISO around 1000 to 1600, so basically the highest settings. For saving files, the camera uses CF type card, which is the type of media that we don't see much often these days. Because of that, to transfer the images, I have to use this CF card reader with USB to USB-C hub. So how the files looks like? In my opinion, they look really great. Of course, they are not even close to my Sony in terms of noise level, sharpness and overall image quality. But I was quite shocked how the files are pushable in terms of highlights and shadows. But what was the purpose of this whole video? I wanted to show you, if you want to start, you don't need the greatest, latest modern mirrorless camera on the market. You have to know how to use the camera, so grab any camera and start your journey. If you have any question or topic that I should talk about, please let me know in the comments. And for the end of this video, I will show you photos taken using my Sony. Thank you for watching this video and see you next time.